Today we're touring Centennial, Colorado. Stay tuned. Hey everybody, I am Alyson Wahl with Live South Denver, your real estate strategist and realtor for the South Denver area. I'm so excited to take you through Centennial, Colorado today. We're going to talk about the pros and cons of Centennial. It's one of the newer towns in the Denver area, probably the newest, and I'm just going to share a little bit about it, and then we're going to do a driving tour, so make sure you stay tuned to the end. Centennial is a pretty good size. It's about 30 square miles and has certainly grown from the last population count of 110,000 back in 2019. Centennial became a city in 2001. It's the most newly incorporated city in the Denver metro area, and it quickly rose to be an award-winning city as well. By 2012, it received its first award, hitting number 47 on Money Magazine's top 50 places to live. The Centennial Center Park has won several awards. Centennial has been named a best place to live for veterans and for first-time homebuyers. It's been ranked numerous times in the top 50 best places to live. It's been ranked a safest city, one of the best cities for young families and places to start a family, and so many more. It has such a great location in South Denver. You can see on this map that its neighbors to the north are Greenwood Village, Denver, and Aurora. So if you'll be working in the Denver Tech Center, downtown, at Buckley Air Force Base, Children's Hospital, you are in a really great position living in Centennial to have a really moderate to even short commute. Neighboring to the west is Littleton, and neighboring to the south are both Highlands Ranch and Parker. Centennial as a home base would also be great if one of you, if you're married, were to work at Lockheed in Littleton, and the other spouse were to work in either of the places that I mentioned before. You know, Tech Center, downtown, over in Aurora. It would make a nice home base where you would both have a pretty moderate commute. All right, so I'm ready to talk pros and cons of Centennial, and if you haven't seen any of my other videos yet or have not grabbed your free South Denver relocation guide, make sure at the end of the video you grab it in the description box down below. Centennial has so much going for it and for the people who live there. You've got great access to ethnic restaurants, to good breweries. Because it was a lot of unincorporated areas and mature communities, there are small mom and pop restaurants all throughout. So you're not getting all chain restaurants and everything is cookie cutter. So there's a lot of diversity in, there's condos, there's single family homes, there's mom and pop shops. You get a little bit of everything all across, and people do really love that. Most of Centennial has easy access to either I-25 or C-470 and E-470 or both, making access to anywhere in the city quick and painless. Dove Valley is in Centennial's backyard, so Bronco fans have really enjoyed that. Pre-COVID days, the Broncos training facility at Dove Valley would open up to the public at times. They could go in, they could watch training, be a part of some of the activities on different days. So that's a really fun thing to just have right there. Access to parks and trails, the thing people ask me about so much when they're looking at homes and communities. There are over 100 parks in the South Suburban Parks and Rec District, which Centennial is a part of. There's over 100 miles of trails. Some of our family favorite options include Centennial Center Park, DeCovand Park, Clarkson Park, the Highline Canal Trail. There are so many. As I kept scrolling through the list, I was like, well, this list is gonna get too long. So there are just so many great parks in the South Suburban Parks and Recs District. Not all of Centennial falls within the South Suburban Parks and Recs District. Anyone and everyone can use the parks. But if you're on the more western side of Centennial, pretty much from I-25 to the west side, you may also have access to their rec centers and their pools. Like I said, anyone can use the open spaces, the parks, all of that anywhere. You can go to parks in Aurora, parks in Parker. Centennial is served by 2 school districts, both Cherry Creek and Littleton school districts. You can check out ratings on those, see if they've changed over the last year or so, see if there's a particular school boundary you'd like to focus your home search on, etc., by checking out schooldigger.com and greatschools.org. Another pro is shopping access. You have great access to Costco's, Sam's Clubs, boutique stores, grocery stores. Not all of them are right in Centennial's boundaries, but they're so close by. You've got Southlands Mall in Aurora. You've got Park Meadows Mall at Lone Tree. You've got South Glen in Centennial on the west side, and Parker has their major shopping center at 470 and Parker Road. Aero Electronics, United Launch Alliance, and numerous construction and engineering companies headquarter themselves or have major offices right in Centennial. So there are plenty of opportunities to not have to commute to work very far at all. And Centennial is pretty darn healthy tax-wise. IKEA has a building within Centennial's borders, and Centennial Airport, the second busiest private airport in the US is, obviously by its name, right in Centennial. There truly are not a lot of cons to Centennial, but I'm gonna share what I hear based on some of the feedback I receive from folks who come in town and they're looking and house hunting. One, the potential noise from the Centennial Airport based on where their house may be. Now, as you saw on that map, Centennial is very long and pretty narrow. The Centennial Airport is almost in the middle, and most of the way the air traffic runs means that, up toward Denver and down toward Parker are getting more of that air traffic noise than anywhere in Centennial. But it's something to watch for if you would prefer to have some quiet airspace over your house. Light rail access. It's so-so. Since Centennial does straddle I-25, there are light rail stops that fall within the boundaries of Centennial. But again, because it's so long and narrow, there are no light rail stops that push out to the east. Arapahoe Road and Parker Road are two major roads that go through Centennial and are access points to I-25 up to 470 on the east side. They can get heavily loaded during rush hour, and if they are going to be your major access points to work, to getting to the interstate, know that they really can be drudgery to drive. As we said, Centennial was kind of made out of a conglomerate of existing unincorporated areas. There's really no new construction in Centennial. Now, that's not necessarily a negative. I have a lot of people that want existing homes, the larger lots that comes with, the mature trees. But I have a lot of people that really want new construction and would love to be as close to Denver as possible so their commutes are not long. Well, Centennial's not gonna be the place for that. There's really nothing there for new construction. About half of the homes that sold last year were older than 1980. The median home price for homes in 2020 that sold in Centennial for single family was $515,000. So it's higher than the whole Denver median, but still very moderate and totally within reach for most first-time buyers, which is great news. All right, let's head out for our driving tour of Centennial so you can get your eyes on the lay of the land and see if Centennial is an area you want to check out. This is South Glen Mall. This is the outdoor shopping area on the west side of Centennial. This is the movie theater, and we are driving around the central lawn. In the wintertime, they have an ice skating rink. In the summer, there's seats and coffee. It's a great place for just walking, hanging out, being with friends, and there is a Whole Foods here, even though you won't spot it in the video. This is Cherry Knolls. It's around the Arapahoe and University Cross streets on the west side of Centennial. Really popular neighborhood. Homes sell in here so quickly. Look at those unique architectural styles on each home. It's not very cookie cutter in here. Large lawns, mature trees, just a really fun community. And here is Homestead and the Willows. These homes, again, another really popular neighborhood. Great access to trails. The structure of the houses is wonderful. Lots of natural light, except for those large trees that sometimes block it. But I just find that there is a draw that people have to this area, and I think it's the style of the homes. It reminds them of maybe where their grandparents lived, where their parents lived, where they grew up, a place on the shore. There's something that draws people to this area very deeply. Another plus is how conveniently located this is to I-25. It is probably 2 minutes to get to I-25 from this community. This is Piney Creek. So we have trucked along over to the east side of Centennial. We took Arapahoe Road and drove about 20 minutes to the other side. Piney Creek is a really cool neighborhood with great amenities. It has trails and tennis courts and pools. And as you can see, the homes are large, a little bit newer. I was just showing a home in here the other day. It was a 3-car garage, 3rd-acre lot, updated. It was a beautiful home. And in this market right now, it went for a well over list price. One of the things I want to talk about that we didn't chat about in the previous neighborhoods is, people ask me all the time, I want a house that's move-in ready and on a great spot, like this little cul-de-sac house right here. Look right there, down that street. That's what they want, because that house backs to the west and has some mountain views, but those are kind of hard to come by. So when you find the one,
great location, mountain views, at least somewhat move-in ready, jump on it. And they do sell at a premium. Now on that drive from one side of Centennial to the other, we passed 2 Targets, plenty of restaurants, great shopping. So it's not like there's a huge gap from one end to the other where you're trying to cherry pick. Is there a Costco nearby? Is there shopping nearby? Everything is really convenient all across the whole town of Centennial. FOXFIELD, this is a tiny little hidden gem of land. Look at all that space. It's actually its own town, but it's so close to Centennial, this was a great place to throw it in. So if you want more than 1/3 of an acre, 1/4 an acre, it might be worth checking out FOXFIELD. It's so close to town.
Thanks so much for joining me on our tour of Centennial. I am so glad you did. If you have questions about this area or any other part of the Denver market, know that I would be thrilled to connect with you. You can reach out to me via text, via cell, via email, and I can't wait to chat with you. Hey, I will see y'all next week.